Welcome to Travel Guide 360. I'm Billy Tran, a local tour guide right here on Phu Quoc Island, where every morning I wake up feeling like I'm living inside a dream. Today, I want to take you for a walk, not down a busy city street or between skyscrapers, but deep into the soul of an island. A place that, I believe, if you visit just once, your heart will never really leave. That place is Phu Quoc, a quiet emerald tucked into the Gulf of Thailand. Have you ever dreamed of a place where time just slows down? No honking cars, no back-to-back meetings, no deadlines breathing down your neck. The only time that matters is when the sky turns gold at sunrise, or when it sets the sea on fire at dusk. I know life on the other side of the world, especially in the US, can be exhausting. Day after day, year after year. But in Phu Quoc, everything softens. Here, the wind smells like the ocean, and the waves don't crash to overwhelm you. They roll in gently, just to remind you to breathe slower. I often tell my American guests, welcome to Phu Quoc, where even your watch wants to take a nap. Have you ever dreamed of a place where time just slows down? No honking cars, no back-to-back meetings, no deadlines breathing down your neck. The only time that matters is when the sky turns gold at sunrise, or when it sets the sea on fire at dusk. I know life on the other side of the world, especially in the US, can be exhausting. Day after day, year after year. But in Phu Quoc, everything softens. Here, the wind smells like the ocean, and the waves don't crash to overwhelm you. They roll in gently, just to remind you to breathe slower. I often tell my American guests, welcome to Phu Quoc, where even your watch wants to take a nap. And if you really want to understand the heart of this island, don't just stay at a beach resort or snap photos at South Beach. Let me take you somewhere salty, still, and quietly beautiful like a memory from a slower time. I'm talking about Ham Ninh Fishing Village. I remember the first time I took an American couple there, Tom and Linda, retired, big fans of local culture and fresh seafood. We arrived just as the sun was peeking over the low hills. No traffic, no noise. Just the soft splash of paddles on water and birds greeting the morning. Linda sat on a worn wooden dock, watching the round basket boats return from a night at sea. Tom smiled, looked around, and whispered, "Billy, this isn't just a place. This feels like a poem." Ham Ninh isn't flashy, it's rustic, weathered. And that's exactly what makes it charming. Old stilt houses lean toward the water. Elderly fishermen with sun-darkened hands untangle their nets, grinning under conical hats. It's the kind of place where nothing's dressed up. Everything is just real. Picture this. You're standing on a narrow wooden bridge stretching out to sea. Below you, the water is so clear you can see tiny fish darting between coral rocks. Just ahead, little boats bring in fresh-catch, wriggling shrimp, silverfish glistening in the morning sunday. Off in the distance, a few kids run barefoot along the shore, their laughter floating in the golden light. There's no tourist trap here. Just authenticity, pure and simple. And then comes the real treat I always save for the end. Steamed crab with salt, pepper, and lime. I know you've probably had crab before, maybe in fancy restaurants with dipping sauces and candles. But nothing compares to Ham Ninh. The crabs here aren't huge, not dressed in rich sauces, but they're so fresh, so naturally sweet, you only need a quick steam. One dip into a mix of salt, crushed pepper, and a squeeze of lime, spicy, tangy, perfectly balanced, and you'll understand why the locals never get tired of it. I'll never forget Tom's face as he tasted his first bite. He nodded slowly, eyes watering just a little, and said, "I've been to 42 countries, but this crab is something else. You know what's amazing? The people of Ham Ninh live by the sea, but never complain about it. Even in storm seasons, even when boats flip or fish are scarce, they smile. They carry on. Maybe because, to them, the sea is more than livelihood. It's father, mother, home." I once asked an old man, almost 80 years old, "Uncle, why don't you leave the village and live an easier life in town?" He looked out at the ocean, then answered softly, "What's easier than this? I wake up to fish. I go to sleep to waves. Isn't that the good life?" Maybe what makes Hamnin special isn't just the view, the peace, or even the crab. It's the feeling of coming home. Coming back to simplicity. To a slower pace. To a quiet kind of gratitude for every meal, every breeze, every story whispered by the sea. And if you watching this from the other side of the world ever feel burnt out, disconnected from nature, or even from yourself, then maybe, just maybe, it's time for a journey. Not a luxury escape, just a return. Come to Phu Quoc. Sit by the sea at Ham Ni. Don't take pictures, just listen, really listen to the waves. You might not leave as a different person, but I promise you'll find a part of yourself you forgot was missing. I'm Billy Tran, and I truly believe the most beautiful journeys are never in a brochure. They begin the moment you put down your phone, look up, and start listening. So tell me, have you ever visited a fishing village like this? Would you like to explore a side of the sea no one ever puts on Instagram? Let's find it together. Do you know a place in Phu Quoc where, every afternoon, it feels like the sun melts right into the ocean? A place where you could walk for hours along the sand and still never reach the end? That place, for me, is Long Beach, the heart of Phu Quoc. Now, I don't call it the heart because it's famous or lined with resorts. I call it that because this is where I've seen so many people fall in love not just with the ocean, but with themselves. It's where they finally paused and felt life again. Picture this. You're here with me on a warm March afternoon. The sand beneath your feet is soft like silk. Above you, tall palm trees sway in the breeze. Far off, you hear children laughing. Closer by, a French couple lounges quietly on wooden chairs. Hand in hand, no phones, no noise, just waves. I only guided them for a day, but as the sun began to set, the husband turned to me and said, "Billy, this beach heals. I think I found something I didn't know I lost." I nodded because I felt that too. Long Beach isn't the kind of place you just check in and check out. It's a place you stay. You look, you breathe, and most of all, you slow down. In the early morning, the sand is cool, and the sea is still like it's just waking up from a gentle dream. Locals come out for light exercise. Elders sip iced coffee made with filtered seawater. One American friend told me once, "Every time I come back here, I throw out my schedule. Give me a chair, a book, and the sound of waves, that's all I need." And I get it. Because sometimes, healing comes from the simplest things. Are you into paddleboarding? Kayaking over crystal clear water? Coral reefs right beneath you? You can do that here. But you can also do absolutely nothing. And that might just be the best part. I've had days when I came here just to lie under a tree, close my eyes, and listen. The wind whispers through the leaves like the ocean, composing a melody just for you. A song no Spotify playlist could ever capture. Then, come evening, Long Beach begins to change its colors. The sky turns amber, then red, then a soft, lavender hue. The sun, like a glowing fireball, slowly dips into the water, casting golden light across every ripple. And at that moment, everything just pauses. Tourists stop walking. Cafe owners stop wiping glasses. And the sea begins to shine. I usually find a seat at a small seaside shack. Nothing fancy, just wooden chairs and cold coconut water. Here, you hear the soft clink of glasses, the gentle rhythm of waves, and the occasional guitar from someone learning their first chords. An older guest from California once told me during a sunset like that, "Billy, this isn't a sunset. This is therapy." Long Beach isn't just beautiful. It heals. It teaches you to value time, to understand the power of silence, to recognize the emotions you've been too busy to feel. I believe we don't always need to go somewhere famous to see the beauty of the world. Sometimes, all we need is a quiet moment, a radiant sunset, and a heart ready to listen. So if you're planning a trip and looking for a place to truly reset yourself, Long Beach is a place you shouldn't overlook. But fair warning, bring an open heart, because this place will sneak inside you and stay long after you've gone. Have you ever watched a sunset somewhere that made you feel a little choked up like you were witnessing something deeply personal? Share your story in the comments. And if this video reminds you of someone who could use a little peace away from the chaos of the city, send it to them. Let them know there's a place called Long Beach, and it's waiting to welcome them home. Would you believe there's still a beach in Phu Quoc where people go just to be silent and breathe? I'm talking about Sao Beach. A place that, every time I step onto it, feels like it washes my mind clean with its soft white sand and that gentle shade of blue that seems to whisper straight to your soul. Let me paint you a picture. You've just stepped off a narrow dirt path, and in front of you opens up a scene so beautiful, it feels almost unreal. The sand is white soft, like powdered sugar, curving along the shore like nature's quiet smile. The water is a pale, crystal clear blue, so transparent, you can see starfish resting quietly on the ocean floor. No traffic, no loudspeakers, just the breeze, the waves, and the sound of your own thoughts. I once brought an older guest from Seattle here. She had traveled far and wide, Bali, Fiji, the Maldives. But the moment her feet touched the sand at Sao Beach, she said just one thing. This is the peace I've been looking for. And honestly, I knew exactly what she meant. Sao Beach isn't flashy. It doesn't try too hard. It's peaceful in the purest, most quiet kind of way, like the heartbeat of Phu Quoc itself. Early mornings here feel like a gift. I usually come around 6 a.m. That's when the sun rises behind the forest. The light is soft, and the sea reflects the sky like a mirror. I love walking barefoot along the shoreline, hearing the soft crunch of sand under my feet, and feeling the sea mist gently touch my skin like nature's own moisturizer. In the middle of the beach, there's a row of rustic wooden swings tied to leaning coconut palms. I've seen young women and newlywed couples too sitting there, quietly swaying, just staring out to sea, as if keeping a secret with the ocean. One time, I asked a Canadian traveler, "How does Phu Quoc feel compared to the other places you've been?" She smiled and said, "Everywhere else, I take photos. Here, I listen." If you're someone who values privacy and stillness, Sao Beach is a gift from nature made just for you. There are a few small shops here now, but the southeast corner still feels untouched. You can bring a book, lay out a towel, or do absolutely nothing. Just breathe. Just be. One thing I always recommend, especially if you're here with someone you love, is to stay until late afternoon. When the sun begins to set behind the island, the sky turns soft shades of peach and rose, and the sea wraps itself in golden silk. You'll understand why the locals call Sao Beach the place where time falls asleep. And if you've ever been here before, you'll know I'm not exaggerating. This beach needs no filters, no edits. It's beautiful in a gentle, honest, soulful kind of way. I still remember one evening, after wrapping up a tour here, I walked back for one last look. The beach was empty, night was falling, the breeze was soft, and I realized sometimes beauty doesn't need to be loud or crowded. It just needs to be the right moment, in the right place. Have you ever found a beach that made you put your camera down not because you forgot, but because you just wanted to keep it in your heart? If not, I think Sao Beach might be the first. Small suggestions. Come early. Around 7 a.m., the light is perfect, and it's blissfully quiet. Try a fresh, chilled coconut right on the sand, nothing compares. And, most of all, stay just a little longer after everyone's gone. That moment, that one's yours alone. I'm Billy Tran, a son of Phu Quoc, and I truly believe Sao Beach isn't a place you just visit and forget. It's a place you sit with, stay with, and carry with you long after you've left. So if you're thinking about a journey that truly means something, a place where your mind can rest and your heart can feel warm again, then I invite you to come here, not to conquer it, but to melt into it, to let it remind you of the beauty of stillness and the joy of simply being. If you ever find your way here, tell me. I'll meet you with a coconut, a smile, and a swing waiting beneath the palms.